Hello, and welcome to the English with Colin Podcast, a podcast for English language learners. My name's Colin, I'm an English teacher in Tokyo, and if you're looking to improve your English skills and gain more confidence in your ability to communicate in English, you've come to the right place. In these episodes, I'll provide you with short conversations in English that cover a range of topics, from everyday situations to more specialised subjects. These conversations are designed to help you practice your listening skills and pick up new vocabulary and grammar along the way. Regular listening practice is key to improving your English, and I hope this podcast will become a valuable resource for you on your language learning journey. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. And remember, the more you listen, the more you'll learn. Before we start, I have a small favour to ask. If you are enjoying these podcasts, please take a moment to share your favourite episode with a friend. This really helps our podcast to grow. So, in your podcast app, click share and send a short message to a friend who might find our podcast useful. Thank you so much for your help. It really means a lot to us. Now, let's get on with the conversation. This is episode 43, and today's topic is umami adventures, the best meals we've had in Japan. Hello, Sue.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well. We've been quite lucky to have had some really nice meals in our time in Japan, and we're going to talk about some of these today. The title, umami adventures. Is that a word you knew before you came to Japan, umami?
I don't think so, no. I mean, this is 10 years ago.
Right.
So umami wasn't in my vocabulary, I don't think.
No, but it's a word that I've heard used, if you watch like a cooking show or something.
Nowadays, yeah. Now a lot of shows, as you say, talk about this umami flavor.
Things like MasterChef.
Absolutely.
The TV show MasterChef, they will often talk about umami. So the word umami, which I didn't know until preparing for this episode, it comes from two words. Well, umai, which is delicious in Japanese, and the mi part is the same kanji as taste. So basically, it's a delicious taste. Umami. It's a created word. And basically, if you think of umami, it is savory. It's like a delicious savoriness. So, for example, meats. So it's not sweet. It's not sour. It's a kind of meaty deliciousness kind of flavor. But anyway, today we're just talking about nice meals that we've had in Japan. One of the first sort of really nice meals that we had when we moved to Tokyo was in an izakaya, but it was not just a typical izakaya. It was in a very kind of unique location. Can you remember the one I'm talking about?
It was a high-end izakaya, and it was at the 50th floor?
50th, 53rd floor.
Of a Shinjuku building.
Yeah, so a skyscraper So Shinjuku has what they call the skyscraper district. So it is in the west side of Shinjuku Station. If you walk about 10 minutes, you hit a lot of very, very tall skyscrapers. And this izakaya was, 50-somethingth floor. And I think we went there for your birthday.
We did, yes. And it was all glass. So wherever you turn, you had an incredible view of the city at night because it was dinner time.
Yeah.
And there was like a bar. And behind the bar, it was, again, just glass.
Yeah,
so.
It was just like a window. So you're just looking straight out onto other skyscrapers. So you've got the red lights kind of flashing very close to where you're sitting. Beautiful kind of nighttime view. It's quite a magical thing to see. That was interesting because it was very much an izakaya, but not where you would expect to find an izakaya. And if you look at the other restaurants in that same floor, because there's many restaurants on the same floor, a lot of them were very, very expensive, kind of
Wagyu,
kind of your Kobe beef and very, very expensive sushi. But that izakaya was a great find. Sadly, not there anymore.
No, we were very sad. We wanted to go back, and it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah,
because it was good price. It was incredible food.
Yeah,
it was very nice food, izakaya style. So it's little dishes, and then you order different things and you try them all. And then the bar was incredible.
Yeah,
the atmosphere was great.
Yeah. And I should remember the lighting being very good, because obviously part of the thing is you can see outside. And if the lighting is too strong in the restaurant, it just reflects on the window and you can't see outside. And they had a really nice kind of balance. Another one I remember having was we had eel.
We did, yes.
This was in a place in Tokyo called Nakameguro. Which is kind of a fancy part of Tokyo.
Yeah, it's quite a nice area. It's very well known for hanami.
The cherry blossom.
The cherry blossom.
So there's a river kind of going through, or kind of like a river passing through Nakameguro, and there's thousands of cherry trees along this river. But we went for eel. We were invited for dinner.
Yes.
With your PhD supervisor. And just the most incredible eel. I didn't think eel... I knew eel was I'd had eel before and it was nice, but this was another level.
Yeah, it was a unique restaurant. I guess without my supervisor, we would never have gone to a place like that. He knows very good food.
He does. He enjoys his food. I think that the thing about it was that I imagine it's probably quite difficult to book. They only had a few seats.
You had to book. It probably was by phone. It was only cash. And it was very, very few seats, maybe 10. So it was a beautiful bar.
Yeah. That's the thing. You were sitting at the bar. I don't think there were other tables.
No.
You were at the bar. You were engaging with the chef. You were communicating with the chef. The chef was taking the time to explain everything to you. So, yeah.
And expecting your reactions, which
Indeed.
It was, for us, it was, an explosion of flavors. Yes, no, it was delicious. And, they brought the eel. And, we were not expecting anything. And the first taste was like, I didn't know eel could taste this good.
Yeah.
It was completely different. It was extraordinary, really.
We had a lot of nihonshu, so Japanese sake, but in Japanese you would call it nihonshu.
Yeah.
Again, added to the experience, I think.
Sashimi, it was really nice as well, I remember. It was delicious.
Nakameguro has a lot of good restaurants. Another one we've been to is there's a very famous pizza restaurant called Daisa.
Yes.
In Nakameguro.
It's a tiny little place. Well, the tables are just next to the other.
It feels smaller than it is because the tables are so close together. They put a lot of tables in there, but it has a very authentic atmosphere. It doesn't. Sometimes Western style restaurants in Japan feel very Japanese. This one didn't.
No.
This one felt very Italian, which until you've kind of been to Japan and you've been to kind of Western style restaurants in Japan, that might seem like a strange thing to say, but this felt authentic.
Very much, and it's just pizza.
Just pizza, yeah.
You get there, they just serve pizza, delicious, and he's working. You can see him working. All the time. It's an incredible job.
Yeah.
And there's always a queue, but
you have to get there early.
But it moves quickly because
it does.
you get there, eat your pizza, get out.
Yeah, you're not. They don't really like you sitting around chatting.
No, it's not a place to do that because it's so packed.
That's true.
That you just eat and you're okay to leave. But it's absolutely a great. I think it has been voted the best pizza for many years.
Yeah, it's certainly up there. It's one of the best ones. Down in Osaka, we went for shabu shabu. Mm-hmm. How can you describe what shabu shabu is to somebody who doesn't know?
Shabu shabu is a soup for me, but it's deconstructed soup. Okay. Like you have your broth, you have that it's boiling in your table, and then you have your vegetables and you have your meat.
Right. So meat is very thinly sliced.
Very thinly sliced, and then it cooks sort of like a what is the cheese one?
Like a fondue.
Like a fondue.
Right.
But in a fondue, meat fondue, you have, I think it's more like oil that you put the meat in.
Right.
This is a broth, which is very nice. And then you put vegetables in and then you cook your meat. And the broth starts getting a nice flavor. Mm-hmm. And there's many places in Japan that serve shabu shabu, different prices, all you can eat. But this one was very special because we were looking for a place to have dinner. Mm-hmm. And we looked into this restaurant. It was very, very dark, but it looked quite interesting. And so we went in, and to our surprise, this was like a shabu shabu, but it was like a ham kind of style because they had all the pieces of meat and they had these things that cut the slices.
Yeah, they were cutting all the meat right in the middle of the...
Right, yeah. So by order, they just take the big piece of meat out of the fridge that you could see and they would just slice them to serve them. That's
an interesting thing, and I think that's probably a theme for a lot of the really nice restaurants is that you can see them working. Mm-hmm. You can see the meat. I mean, there's another place where we can talk about a Nihonshu and Yakiniku restaurant close to where we live now. You can see them work. You can see the meats, the ingredients that they're working
caught,
with.
Yeah.
Which is kind of part of the enjoyment. Like, I'm getting some of that. That's coming to me. But that place in Osaka was very nice. Shabute in Kappabashi. Mm-hmm. It was the restaurant. Another one that's quite famous, been around for a long time, is a crab restaurant called Kani Doraku, which you might know if you've walked around central Tokyo or Osaka. There's a restaurant with a giant animatronic crab. Mm-hmm. So basically a big sort of crab that can move its legs and stuff. And I think the eyes also move. Mm-hmm. And it's just right on the side of the building. And they have these throughout Japan. I think we've seen them down in... I think we saw one in Hiroshima maybe. But that is a very special place for crab. Basically, crab every kind of way, every way you can imagine.
They have shabu shabu crab.
Right, yeah.
They're very famous for that. And in Japan, for New Year, crab is the dish for New Year.
Yes, I'd agree.
So that restaurant is completely booked throughout December and January.
Yeah.
Months in advance.
Yeah. That's true.
But it's really, really nice. You can have it in many different ways and you have different sets. But I think the most spectacular dish they have is like a karage, which is like deep fried. You would have like chicken like that, crispy chicken. Yeah. But this is with crab.
Deep fried crab.
You have no idea. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
One of the best things I've eaten, yeah.
Yeah, that was quite surprising. We kind of looked at it and thought, that's quite expensive for not very much. But then you eat it and you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. So yeah, crab. Yeah, I mean, I remember going to a place in Niigata with my parents. This was a little fish market, kind of in a little town called Noh, Noh is the market. Sorry, it's the name of the town. And they're quite famous for crab. So what you can do is you can go and you can pay some money and you basically get a basket of crabs cooked, and you just work through that. I've never seen my dad focus more in his life. He was just really working hard to get all the little bits of meat from this crab. But that was a very unique experience for us because it's just so much crab, and it was cheap. I remember it being really cheap. It's like I don't even think it was 1,000 yen for a basket of crab.
Right.
Yeah, we did not leave hungry. Okay. A couple more that we can talk about is one we went to in Kanazawa. Kanazawa is one of our favorite cities in Japan, and I think we were there to celebrate a birthday or an anniversary or something, and we found a restaurant nearby, so we kind of went to try and get in.
Well, it was very close to the
hotel
we were, so we just walked.
Yeah,
and it was a kind of residential area.
Yeah. So we kind of walk in, and immediately the chef he just says to us, "No English," and which I understand. I understand that could be difficult, but I said to him, "It's okay. I can speak Japanese," and reluctantly they took us.
Again, very small place, like maybe 8 seats or something.
Yeah, I think they had more seats around. I think they had little kind of booth areas, but around the bar, where we were sitting, around the kitchen, not many seats. So anyway, we went in and we sat down and had a look at the menu. The menu's all kind of handwritten Japanese, which is my favorite type of menu. It's quite difficult to read, but we discovered that there was a set, and that's always a good option because they know kind of the amount of food and the combinations of food. So anyway, we ordered a set, and the food just kept coming.
It was delicious, yeah.
It was delicious, and we were right in front of the chef, so I think he appreciated the fact that we were enjoying it, and we could, ask him questions about, what is this? Where is it from? Blah, blah, blah. I think eventually he kind of felt more comfortable with us, and he realized that we could speak a little bit. And I think that's something to keep in mind if you are visiting Japan. A few words, you don't have to be fluent, but a few words, even if it's just, please, thank you, or this is delicious, or whatever, it can really change the atmosphere.
Yeah, especially those places when you tell the chef that's cooking food for you in front of you, and you really appreciate that's his job, that's his art. It's not a job, it's True. An art.
Yeah.
And you express, how incredible his art is. Everyone would be very pleased with that, I would say.
Indeed.
So no, it's a good thing, and they warm up to you, and they smile, and they start telling you more and more things about the food. Like, okay, this is this and this is that.
Indeed.
And you learn a lot, from them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to try things that are maybe off the menu, little extra things, because they like to see your reaction to things. So like, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that?
Yeah.
So it can be a very interesting experience. So those are some of the places that kind of come to mind that we've really enjoyed. And I don't know about you, but I'm quite hungry now. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the English with Colin podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to the conversation and found it helpful in your language learning journey. Remember, the key to mastering a language is regular practice. So make sure you listen to our podcast regularly and keep honing your listening skills. We appreciate your support and feedback. So if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for future topics, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can find our contact information in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to joining you again next time for another conversation in English. Until then, keep practicing and take care.